What's the most creative way you've ever cheated the system? When I was growing up, my grandmother believed every girl in the family had to master sewing, not because it was a useful skill, because she believed a real woman earns her place. Every summer, all the girls in our family from age 10 to 18 had to spend 6 weeks at Grandma's farmhouse, Mutivi. No phones, no sleeping in. Every morning at 6 a.m., we'd sit around one enormous table sewing quilts by hand. There was one rule. Every Sunday, Grandma inspected everyone's work. Whoever made the fewest mistakes got dessert for the entire week. Everyone else, no sweets, not one cookie, not one slice of pie, not even birthday cake if your birthday happened that week. Looking back, it sounds ridiculous. But when you're 11, watching your cousins eat Grandma's famous peach cobbler while you're stuck chewing plain oatmeal, it feels devastating. The worst part? Grandma was unbelievably picky. One crooked stitch, one uneven corner, one loose thread, and you'd lose. My cousin Ava cried almost every Sunday. By 13, we'd all become obsessed. Girls started hiding tiny mistakes under decorative patches. Some secretly unpicked each other's stitches when nobody was looking. One cousin even rubbed dirt on someone else's quilt, so Grandma would think it had been dropped outside. The competition stopped being fun. It became survival. Then one afternoon, while helping organize Grandma's sewing room, I found an old pair of reading glasses. They looked exactly like hers. An idea hit me. That night, while everyone slept, I secretly switched Grandma's strongest reading glasses with a much weaker pair. The next morning, inspection day, Grandma slowly examined every quilt. Beautiful work. She kept smiling. One by one, every single quilt passed. Not one correction. Not one complaint. For the first time ever, every girl at the table got dessert. We couldn't believe it. The following week, I did it again. Another perfect inspection. Another week of cookies. Soon, all 12 cousins were eating dessert together every night. The house completely changed. Instead of sabotaging each other, we started helping, teaching younger cousins, sharing techniques, laughing again. It was honestly the happiest summer we'd ever had. Everything worked until Grandma went to her eye doctor. A few days later, she came home carrying a brand new prescription. That Sunday, she put on her new glasses, looked down at the quilts, then looked back up at us. Something wasn't right. She inspected my quilt again, then my cousins, then another. Finally, she asked, "Since when did all of you suddenly become experts?" Nobody answered. She smiled. "Oh, I see." The next morning, every girl's suitcase was searched before breakfast. Grandma thought someone was using sewing templates. She never found the glasses, but she knew something had happened. I thought I was doomed. Instead, that evening, she quietly knocked on my bedroom door. She held up the old reading glasses. "I found these behind the washing machine." I froze. "You switched them." It wasn't a question. I nodded, waiting to be punished. Instead, she started laughing. Not a little laugh. A full, tear-in-her-eyes laugh. "I spent 30 years turning dessert into a competition." She shook her head. "And one stubborn granddaughter tricked me into realizing the girls were happier helping each other than competing." The next Sunday, Grandma announced a brand new rule. If one girl finishes, she helps the next. If everyone finishes, everyone gets dessert. Years later, she admitted something to me. She'd figured out my trick long before she let on. She just wanted to see what happened. What happened was 12 girls stopped seeing each other as rivals and started acting like sisters again. To this day, every family reunion ends the same way. Someone serves peach cobbler. Grandma points at me and says, "She's the reason I finally learned that sometimes the smartest way to beat the system is to make the system kinder."